We are still feeling the fantasy impacts from the trade deadline, with Ryan O'Hearn going over to San Diego and a bunch of more closers still getting new jobs. Those names and more on today's action-packed episode of Locked On Fantasy Baseball.
You are Locked On Fantasy Baseball, your daily fantasy baseball podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, fantasy baseball fanatics, and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Baseball podcast, brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. As always, we're your number one source of fantasy baseball knowledge, and thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. I'm your host, Dominic Martino, joined as always by my co-host, my partner in crime, my best friend, Matthew Ahne. As you can see if you're watching on YouTube, and if you haven't already on YouTube, hit that little bell below. It's going to subscribe to the channel and give you a notification every time we drop a new episode. Or if you're listening on the audio side of things, once again, please make sure you subscribe. And if you're listening on a platform like Apple or Spotify, that allows 5-star ratings and reviews. We would truly appreciate it if you do that for us as well. And lastly, but what's most important to us and you guys this time of year, join us on the Insider's Track. I know it's that time of year, you're starting to lose track of baseball with football. So let Matt and I do the heavy lifting for you when it comes to your fantasy baseball team. You're going to get those instant text messaging notifications when the next group of the big time prospect calls up, and we do our waiver wire episodes like this one. We're going to rank these guys for you and tell you the order you should be picking them up in. So let Matt and I help you get a Locked On Fantasy Baseball championship this year by joining us on the Insider's Track. And this episode is brought to you by 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. Go to 5hourenergy.com today and use my promo code LOCKEDONGOLF to receive 20% off your order. Only valid through September 30th. Order transfusion flavored 5-Hour Energy shots today. And all right, Matt, top of the week here, must add players. You know the deal. If you guys don't know the deal, that's what we're doing today. And listen, the trade deadline still had so many fantasy implications. We really didn't get to cover all the names in one episode. We got a few names impacted by the trade deadline, and we got just some guys that you need to add to your teams. So, Matt, where are we starting today, my brother?
All right, no doubt. So we're going to start off with Ryan O'Hearn, who has now gone to the San Diego Padres from the Baltimore Orioles, playing first in outfield. And O'Hearn, over this last week, 4 runs, a bomb, 4 Rays, batting .235, whatever. But I will say this. I like the landing spot, even though I think the power maybe takes a little bit of a back step just based off of the fact that he's going from the Orioles park to now the San Diego Padres park. But I still think he's going to be A-okay. I look at it, he hasn't really gotten a hit since joining the Padres, but that's coming. Like, it's going to come. He's going to be just fine. I think that the move is actually more of a positive thing. You got guys like Machado, Tatis, and such in that lineup that I feel are playing at a high level right now, where O'Hearn is going to be able to benefit versus the underperforming Baltimore Orioles in a lot of aspects. So I think that the benefit for this week is just scooping up and see if we can do it. They're also going up against Arizona this week, which is pretty much they did a full send in terms of selling. So ultimately, they're going to win games. They're going to score runs. There's not much left on that team. So I think that it's time to just roll him out and see if what we can get out of this. Ryan O'Hearn, 29% owned. I feel like he's an ad, but maybe not in, shallower leagues. Maybe 12-man and higher, a little bit of depth piece and see if he can get hot. If he gets hot, we're going to start rolling, and then we can talk about picking him back up. It's coming soon.
Yeah, Matt, great take there on O'Hearn. Kind of just, want to get ahead of that curve possibly a little bit while he's still only 29% owned on Yahoo. First in outfield eligible for O'Hearn. As you talked about, love the change of scenery for him here in a way better lineup. He hit 6th in his first game over there, so not a great spot, but he should give you some ribbies. He's got a little bit of power. Batting average has been good on the year. I know he's slowed down of late, but I do like me some Ryan O'Hearn, and he's very widely available. Once again, 29% owned on Yahoo. But Matt, great job. Let's keep things pushing. Let's talk about somebody that I didn't expect to talk about, that much this year. Jesus Sanchez goes over to the Astros, a way better situation than, was over there in Miami. And Jesus Sanchez is actually having a pretty solid year so far. He's got 10 homers across 87 games, 309 at-bats, 40 runs, 12 doubles, 3 triples, 36 RBIs, 9 steals, hitting .259. honestly, he's been hitting second and third in this Houston lineup since getting over there. This lineup's really good. A lot of runs and RBIs potentials. He steals bases. He's actually super fast for a big guy. He's 6'4", 222. Has had some really monstrous seasons down in the minors. Didn't really translate over to the bigs. More of a, I want to say, not a super deep league play, but you know what? Even in your deep 12s, where you have like a 5 outfielder situation, you could look Jesus Sanchez's way. In those leagues where he went from, you know, the NL onlys to the AL onlys, you know, if he's still somehow available in those situations, would definitely love to grab him in those. 7% owned on Yahoo for Jesus Sanchez. Just a nice little sneaky pickup, especially going over to a good team where he's hitting in a great spot in the lineup. And then he's been hot of late. On July 30th, went 2 for 4 with a home run, 2 RBIs. On August 1st, 2 for 4. No counting stats, but still a great line there. And like I said, been hitting second and third since going over to Houston. Jesus Sanchez, a nice sneaky pickup, 7% owned on Yahoo.
Yeah, no, I like Sanchez a lot. I mean, if you were around like 3 years ago or 4 years ago, back when we were the MDs, he was a guy that I liked coming up. And, you know, I think that this is a way better landing spot. The park is obviously significantly smaller than playing in Miami, which I think is a bonus, is where his power is actually going to play. He's never going to be a picture of batting average like Dom said, but the power is going to play in this park. And I think that he's also now going to be, you know, a little bit more protected too, because there is power in that lineup. Whereas, like, okay, if I was scared of any bat in the Miami Marlins lineup, which isn't saying much, Jesus Sanchez would have been one of those guys because he could take you for yard. I mean, his average exit velocity is sitting at 92.2 miles an hour, and he creates hard contact 46.7% of the time. And on top of that, that expected slug is actually a 483, and at xWOB is 349. Like, the kid can crush the ball. And he hits the fastball, obviously, great. He's hitting that at a 280 batting average, and even breaking balls at 240 batting average. He needs to just work on that off speed a little bit, bring that up to about 240. And I think that we're going to start seeing that power shine. That, and I think Houston does a good job with their hitting coaches. So I think Sanchez might actually be a plus. Him being hot, him on the new team. I'm excited to see if this is the start of something. So getting ahead on the waiver wires with this kid, I think, is the right move. Because I'm not going to say he's going to be some perennial talent, and I'm talking him up like he's going to be like the next Yordan Alvarez, but, you know, he might pose some value for the second half, and I like the landing spot a lot. One of the guys I just wasn't on my bingo card, and one of the landing spots that I did not foresee happening. So I like it overall. But let's move on. Let's talk about Jorge Polanco, 35% owned, playing second and third for the Seattle Mariners. He's having an okay week. 2 runs, a bomb, 3 ribs, stolen base, batting 263. Look, Polanco as a whole, I'm kind of like, okay, the team has just gotten 2 upgrades. And I think that now he's going to have more options around him to either drive him in or for him to drive in. And that is going to be the key part. They just added Eugenio Suarez. They added Naylor. They obviously, the other people that have been in the lineups, including, you know, him and Julio Rodriguez and Cal Riley, like, you know, Polanco's like the 6th guy on there, and I think that he's going to benefit from all the new assets that have joined the team. And I think, again, getting ahead of the waiver wire, I think he's an ad with in a lot of leagues where, like, okay, your third baseman has gone down, or you're dealing with underperformings from, like, you know, Rafael Devers, or you're dealing with an underperforming of Ozzy Albies. And, you know, he's a great slot in who I think has higher upside at this point. That with the new teams, you know, pretty much landscape, that Jorge Polanco is going to be a benefit from. And then on top of that, you just look under the hood, and he is doing good things. Average exit velocity at 90.5, expected slug at 469, expected batting average is actually at 282. So, you know, it's better. The xWOBA is at 354. You know, he's not really chasing. Yeah, he's striking out, but I mean, whiffing, but he's not striking out. He's only doing that at 13.8% of the rip. Love to see him walk a little bit more, to be a little bit more on the value side on terms of points leagues, but he's doing all right. Obviously hitting fastballs at a pretty good, decent rip, but really crushing breaking balls. Off-speed pitch is really where his weakness is, but ultimately, like, Jorge Polanco, I think, is going to start showing out in terms of peripheral stats, in terms of runs and ribs, because of the team landscape, and he's going to benefit heavily from this. So add him now. He's an all must add from like 10 team leagues and up.
And Matt, before I jump in and give my take on Jorge Polanco, and then we have a couple of young players like Liover Peguero and warming Bernabel, and then we're going to get into the pitching side of things. I had a surprise update as we're recording. Big name just got called up, so we're going to talk about him in a little bit. Those names and more coming up next. And all right, guys, time to fuel up and turn it up with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. It brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink, minus the alcohol, into a quick, energizing shot. Whether you're sinking birdies or just making memories with friends, this one's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Let's be honest, some days off the course or some days on the course or off it, you just need that extra boost to stay sharp and energized. Golf is all about the good times with good people and good flavors, of course. The grape ginger lime flavor gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without chasing down the bev cart. If you go to 5hourenergy.com today, that is the number 5hourenergy.com, use the promo code LOCKEDONGolf to receive 20% off your order. This offer is only valid until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with other promotions. The code is not good on subscription orders. Whether you're meeting up with friends or just trying to turn 18 holes into 36, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order transfusion flavored 5-Hour Energy shots today. And all right, guys, before we get back into it, just want to mention the Insiders track one more time, guys. I know we're right around the corner from fantasy football. Myself, Matt, everybody's locked in. We're trying to get our, rankings together. Drafts are around the corner. So, football's on the mind. You might not be focused on baseball, but you still want to win. Join the Insiders track. Matt and I are going to make it real easy for you. You're going to get text messaging notifications going right to your phone, offering so much more than we can in these 30-minute episodes. Prospect qualifications, waiver wire ranking episodes. Your trade deadlines are probably coming up soon. You can send us over some offers that you got on the table and just so much more. Once again, we're offering these 30-minute episodes. But let's keep things going. Jorge Polanco, Matt, you were talking about him. Good breakdown. Love the additions over there. You were talking Eugenio Suarez, Josh Naylor. That team is looking a lot better. Cole Young got called up, a month or two ago. He's 22 years old. He's been starting to figure it out over there. Just love the team context. Jorge Polanco isn't super consistent, but over the season, the numbers will be consistent. There's going to be 2 or 3 weeks where he's one of the better players in the game, 2 or 3 weeks where he slows down. But at the end of the year, he's still like a 250, 260 guy with some pop, going to steal you, around 8 bases. The runs and RBIs, I think, are going to be a lot better, with the improvements on this team. He's been hitting 6th, right behind guys like Suarez and Naylor and Julio. So once again, the RBIs are going to be good for Polanco. 2nd and 3rd eligibility on Yahoo, and he is only 35% owned. But Matt, great breakdown. I'm going to keep things pushing here. Let's talk about a young bat. Let's talk about Liover Peguero of the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's got 2nd and short eligibility. Had a monster game over the weekend on August 2nd. Of course, it wasn't Coors, so we're going to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. But Peguero went 3 for 5 with 3 homers and 5 RBIs. And guess what? He's 1% owned on Yahoo. Man, your 15s, your NL onlys, you should definitely be owned in those. Anywhere where you need some middle infield help, Peguero could definitely come in and help you out a little bit. They moved him to the leadoff spot in the game where he went 3 for 5 with 3 home runs. The Pirates don't really have much other threatening players there. They got rid of Key Brian Hayes. I think they're going to let these young kids play. Peguero's only 24. He's had a couple of cups of coffee in the bigs, but nothing really too significant. Has had some decent seasons down in the minors where he showed some promise. Personally, like I said, there's definitely some spots we can pick him up in because I like the speed power combo that he offers. The eye isn't really amazing at the plate, so not really counting on him in points leagues. But if he's going to be leading off for the Pirates, I'm at 1% owned. Matt, what do you think? At least 15, 20% owned for a guy like Peguero.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm kind of on board for that, but we'll see. Are you handing this off to me? You still got something to go?
No. I was waiting to see what you thought about Mr. Peguero over here.
Oh, my bad. Okay. No, I mean, Peguero is fine and dandy. I mean, I'm willing to ride the wave at this point. I see what's going on, but ultimately, like, I'm going to be honest. I'm not too familiar outside of, hey, he's on the show docket, and this is kind of where it's at. I'm going to be straight. Anybody that's performing well is going to be an ad and a stream for the week, and I'm going to try and manufacture a win. So Peguero is going to help you do that. Let's add him, but let's move on. Let's talk about warming I can't even say this guy's name. Bernabel or
Bernabel.
Bernabel.
Warman
Okay.
Bernabel.
Warman Bernabel. Okay. He's staying real warm. So he's 27% owned, playing for the Colorado Rockies, first and third eligibility, and he's having a great week. He's a streaming candidate ultimately. 6 runs, 3 bombs, 8 ribs, batting 520 over the week. Cool. Great. Awesome. That's all I need to see. He's definitely worth the streaming. And he's at home against Toronto for the next 3 games too. That is another key part. I'm going to add him. He's going to be playing at home. You're going to have that Colorado Rocky benefit right there. Yeah, you want him on your team for that alone. And, he's just worth it at that point. I mean, in the minors, you look at what he's done and it's like, okay, cool. Like he's had 8 home runs over 282 at bats. Not really a lot of power, but he hit 301. So if he can produce the batting average, I'm happy. It's a good ad. Doesn't really steal bases, but hey, it's enough. And he doesn't strike out as much as he walks. Like, I mean, he 23 walks to 39 strikeouts. It's not bad. He is somebody that is when he's up and is playing for your team over the next couple of days at home, I'm going to stream him. If he has the next good couple of days, I'm going to stream him a little bit longer. And then I'm going to see how my week's playing out with him. But he has the shortest leash humanly possible. He falters in a couple games where there's a better ad. I'm going to drop him unless he's crushing it over the next couple of days. But right now at 27% owned, he's I would say 12 team and up must add, 10 team stream, 8 team unless your team is completely in the toilet. Then you can kind of talk about it. Anything less than that, God help you if you have to consider him. But yeah. Add him in deep leagues.
Yeah, Matt, great take on Bernabel. He was a couple years ago. He was a pretty, interesting prospect. He kind of cooled down, but you know what? He's getting the call here. He's playing, and he's in course. There's not much else you can offer than that. Matt, you spoke about how his next few games are over there in Colorado. That's kind of why I threw him on the episode today. Ride the wave while he's hot. I want to say there's like a 15-20% chance that Bernabel could be good the rest of the way. Not great, but at least serviceable for fantasy purposes. They moved him up to the 4 spot in the last game. He's been on fire, as Matt spoke about. Literally has a hit in every game since he's been up here in the bigs through his first 7 games. So Adam Ollie's he's 27% owned on Yahoo. Once again, warming Bernabel, first and third eligible plays for those Colorado Rockies. And let's talk about what's been bugging me the whole entire episode. So as soon as we started recording, I saw that Jacob Misiorowski is getting sent to the IL. That's fantastic because I have him in every single fantasy baseball league I'm in except one. But let's talk about the good news. I was able to grab this guy who got called up to take his place. It is Logan Henderson. So with the bad news, there's a little bit of sunshine. Matt, you have him in one of the leagues we play in, so I know you're excited as well here. Logan Henderson was dominant through his first 4 starts in the bigs. He got 3 wins, a 1.71 ERA, an 0.95 whip, 21 innings, 29 strikeouts. Now, he hasn't been as impressive since getting sent down. He has a 4.34 ERA, 120 whip, 47 strikeouts, and 47 innings since being sent down. Not fantastic, but the kid still got great stuff. And guess what? He's going to be super motivated to show everybody that he's back, that he wants to keep this rotation spot. A lot of upside, has a very good pitch mix. Logan Henderson does. I think he's a must-add everywhere. He's 19% owned on Yahoo. Anywhere you can make the room for a guy like Logan Henderson, I'm going to go out there and do it. Kind of want to see who he's got lined up here in his first start. Bear with me, folks, as I pull that up here. It looks like might not be easy. It looks like he's either going to see, depending on what day he pitches, it looks like it's Atlanta. I'm going to be honest. So not a super deadly matchup, but them boys in Atlanta can go out there and hit on any given night. But I'm still adding Logan Henderson literally anywhere I can just because of the upside. And then still, it was only 13 walks and 47 innings in the minors. So the control was still pretty good. Might have been a little bit unlucky down there, but Logan Henderson, man, a lot of upside here.
I mean, when I saw this come across, I'm like, this is gonna be fun. Look, I don't care. Like, look, yeah, he's getting crushed a little bit, but I mean, he should have never been sent down in the first place. That's really where I'm at. Like Logan Henderson.
Totally agree.
Like, this is where I get frustrated with MLB teams. Like, they don't do what's best for the player sometimes. He came up, he performed, let him figure it out, even if he gets figured out. He didn't even have an opportunity for the league to adjust to him, which is the biggest problem. Like, he just was super successful and then was sent down, and then they call it Misiorowski, who's been incredible, don't get me wrong. But you could have had 2 aces out there, essentially, performing, and you would have just kept him going. If anything, this always messes with players. But I'm willing to roll him out there just based off of what he did. And we're going to get a first taste of it as we're recording today on Sunday. So we'll already see the fruits of our labor, and he'll probably pitch this weekend. Now that he's going to be fitting in, and Mizorowski going on a 15-day IL. It's not really a good sign. So we'll see how long he's going to be out and how long, Henderson's going to be up. It's definitely enticing. The fact that he had the 171 ERA is really, really hot. I love it. The dude has really good stuff. Like, I mean, Dominic, I didn't hear your whole take, but ultimately, like, did you talk about all his different pitches that he can kind of throw out there?
Nah, go for it. I just do want to apologize. I did make one mistake. I didn't realize he was actually starting here on Sunday. That was the one mistake I did make. Yeah, he's out here on Sunday. So actually, the second matchup looks like it's going to be Pittsburgh, which is amazing for Logan Henderson.
Yep. So I mean, four-seam fastball has been absolutely unhittable this year, and it's not like it's a mind-blowing 99-mile-an-hour one. It's like it's just a 93-mile-an-hour fastball, but it has a batting average of 184. He just gets good movement on things. Changeup's really nasty too, 154 batting average against that. He has a cutter, he has a slider, and a sinker, which those got a little hit, but he barely threw them. But I think that those are the pitches that he was probably working on in the minors that probably could have also caused the inflated ERA in the minors over the last couple of weeks. So, you kind of just got to look too, because we got to remember when a guy's in the minors, they work on things, they build on it, and that's kind of the things. Well, I did not realize timing. I'm going to be back, and I'll finish my take after this. Okay. Summer sports are in full swing. Whether you're into baseball, under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game more exciting. You're already following the action. Why not make it a little bit more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburn at the beach. I've been using FanDuel to track all my favorite matchups, and the app keeps it fresh and new with their daily promotions and fun ways to place bets. It's easy to use, fast payout, and makes even regular season games feel like a must-watch event. Whether I'm placing the same game parlay or watching the bet ride into the ninth, FanDuel makes it even easier to make you part of the action. New to FanDuel, new customers can place $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started today, and I'll give you a little insight on a quick little bet. Baseball's coming to an end very soon, funny enough. We're going to be talking World Series and who's going to win it in the next month. September's around the corner, which means October baseball is coming, and it's fun time. And then football is back. So I have a nice little bet for everybody that I planned out. It's a futures bet. So, and it's a pretty risky one, but I think if I'm placing this bet myself. I'm doing $50 on this, just so everybody is aware of what we're going to do. So the future bet is Chicago Cubs to win the World Series, Detroit Lions to win the Super Bowl, and Penn State to win the championship. If you put $50 down, $71,000 payout. Now, obviously, I ain't trying to stick around. Cubs win the World Series. They're going to give me a buyout. I'm doing it early. But hey, why not? $50, let it ride. But all right, back onto my Logan Henderson. I'm going to finish this real quick because I talked about him for a while. Last but not least, I think that we're going to see some good stuff from him now. Minor leagues truly are a time not just for performing and trying to get up to the bigs. He's already did that. He's already proven he can be successful. They were probably working on those secondary and third pitches, so he's not just a two-pitch pitcher between his fastball and his changeup, which were his two most successful pitches. Let's try and work on the slider. Let's work on the sinker and probably different movements and release points. And that is what will probably help him be successful. So I wouldn't be surprised if he comes up to the bigs and we see it a little bit more in the pitch mix, because he threw it 3 and 5%. Now, if we see the increase, I'm 100% right. And if we see it not at all, then they just weren't pitches that they're willing to roll out right now. So let's see. But let's move on. Let's talk about JoJo Romero of the St. Louis Cardinals. Now that Ryan Helsley has been moved on to the Mets and has gone into closer pretty much jail, because now he will not be seeing a single save unless Diaz isn't available. So now JoJo Romero steps into it and has already gotten his first save, and did get lit up, but was able to handle it and walked away with the save anyway against San Diego. Look, he has a tough little stretch coming up against the Dodgers, but save opportunities are something that I want to take a part of and see if I can get it. There is a short leash, and there's going to be some turnover that I think that it's pretty much his job to blow. So, I'm going to keep an eye on him and see if he can kind of hold this down. If not, you have Riley O'Brien, and another guy I've never heard of Gordon Graceoff,
Graceffo.
Graceffo. Thank you. Apparently, my reading level has gone to a third grade, but not a fifth grade yet. So those are the two other names you got to keep in the back of your head. They're all going to have short leases until they can pretty much figure out who's going to be the one. But if I had to pick a guy that's going to take the job, it's going to be Romero. I think he's the most talented out of the three. But ultimately, it's just going to come down to, is he going to be able to handle this next couple of weeks, which I think could throw a throw a wrench into the things of whether he's going to be able to take it. But yeah, take it away, Dom.
Yeah, Matt, great take on JoJo Romero. Got the most recent save on the second. Didn't do it very cleanly, but got the job done. On the season, 42 appearances for Romero, 2.21 ERA, 1.23 WHIP, 36 innings, 35 Ks, 22% owned on Yahoo. Grab him. Now if you missed out on some of the other guys we talked about, or this next guy as well, who I do like a little bit more. We don't really always get into super much politics on the show of baseball, but just will mention Emmanuel Clase. And Luis L. Ortiz's lockers have been cleared out at the Guardians clubhouse, so it doesn't seem like they're going to be playing much baseball for Cleveland, at least for the rest of the season, and I don't think they're going to wind up anywhere else. But the main one is Clase, who was their closer, so we move on to the next guy, and it's Cade Smith, and Cade Smith is actually having a fantastic season. Through 49 appearances, Cade Smith has 3 wins, 3 saves, a 3 ERA, so threes are wild for Cade Smith apparently. 1.15 WHIP, 48 innings pitched, 68 strikeouts. He's been a dog. 47% owned on Yahoo for Cade Smith, and he might have been like the biggest closer winner from trade deadline stuff, even though the trade deadline didn't really impact Clase. It was more of his own doing. Just love Cade Smith, good strikeout guy. The whip is a little bit higher than you like to see on a closer, but still getting the job done very efficiently. Once again, if out of everybody that has moved into closer positions, I like probably Cade Smith near or at the top of the list for me. 47% owned on Yahoo. Go snag him now.
Yeah, no, I like it. I mean, hey, any guy that's in a position to get saves for a team that's going to put you in a safe position, I'm going to want. And don't tell Clase about, the threes, because, he might go try and play that, especially now he has more free time.
That was great.
So, Mr. Captain Betts over here, stealing knots to tie knots. All right. But all right. Cade Smith is a must add. Let's see where it rolls and see how long you can hold the job down. But let's move on. Talk about Gavin Williams on the same team. Hopefully he's not in on this trade, this betting thing. We'll see. But no, I'm kidding. My guy is having a sick month, honestly. 30 innings, 35 strikeouts, a 1.8 ERA, and a 1.03 WHIP. Even has brought his ERA down to a 3.33 on the season with 117 strikeouts over 116 innings. I think really starting to show off who he is as a pitching prospect. And, we see this from time to time. Look at, I'm going to perfect reference. Logan Gilbert took 3 years to really show off that he was absolutely elite in an SP1. Do I think Gavin Williams has that ability? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, pitching prospect shows it wholeheartedly. It's just a matter of will it come to fruition. This is a step in the right direction. He struggled for pretty much a year and a half, because now we're at the second half of the season 2 for him. And now he's starting to figure things out. You have a strong month, and I think the strongest month of his entire career. And, if we could keep this going for another month, there's going to be some serious, expectations for next year and for the rest of the season. So ultimately, I'm going to add him now, and he's a little bit higher. He has officially hit 60% ownership, but even though he's available in 40%, he should be widely owned, because this could be a rotation difference maker. So Gavin Williams need to be owned. Just do not sleep on him, do not pass on him, and don't say, "Oh, this is a trap," because the prospect pedigree tells me, hey, I start seeing a consistent month. This might be a tipping point in terms of the right direction. So Gavin Williams must add wholeheartedly.
Matt, amazing take on Gavin Williams. Yeah, that's why he's on the episode today. He's 60% owned, but he should be 95% owned at this point in time. The breakout's happening right in front of us. His last 3 starts, he's back in that form he was in spring training, where in spring training, Gavin Williams was arguably the best pitcher in spring training. On July 20th, Gavin Williams went against Athletics, 7 innings, got the win, 11 strikeouts, 1 earned run, 0.7 WHIP. July 26th against Kansas City, 6 innings, Didn't get the win, 3 strikeouts, couple earned runs, 117 whip. And his latest start against the Twins, 6 innings, 8 strikeouts, no earned runs, 1 whip. That's why Gavin Williams should be universally owned. But you know what, guys? We spoke about Gavin Williams enough at this point. You pause the podcast, Adam, if he's out there. Calvin Fulcher of the Miami Marlins looks like he's moving back into the closer role. He lost it after being a little bit wild in the middle of the season, but he has got the last 2 saves out in Miami, and one was against the New York Yankees, so that's a pretty good team to get a save against. 16% owned on Yahoo is Calvin Fulcher. He's got 11 saves on the year, a 3.64 ERA, a 1.33 WHIP, 42 innings pitched, 42 strikeouts. If you missed out on everybody else, he's out there.
Yeah, well said, Dom. I mean, hey, I keep saying it the whole time. Guy that has in save situations, you're going to take him. I don't care what team he's on. Miami Marlins, obviously, he's not going to have a lot of opportunities. But when the opportunity comes around, nobody's going to be upset at an extra save on the week. So run him out there and do it. And, you don't have to keep him in the lineup full time. But, I mean, what? If he gets 3 innings in a week and he has a 17 ERA, it's not going to crush your week. So it's definitely worth having him out there in the lineup and picking up an extra save in a week. And that's really where he stands. He's nothing special. Dom, so I guess I'll get us out of here. Please like, subscribe, comment, rate, review, do everything you can to share this show because we truly love bringing it to you each and every week. And stick around. I mean, just because you think you're out of it, you may not be out of it. You're sitting on that bubble of playoffs, staying in and locked on and not forgetting about a baseball entirely and focusing wholeheartedly on football is where you're going to miss the playoffs and the difference of being able to pay your football league thing and winning your championship in baseball. So go ahead, stick in. I promise we're going to get you to the promised land. And thank you for making Locked On Fantasy Baseball your first listen each and every day. For your second listen, check out the new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB at YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. Peace out, guys.
So